Good morning. It's Sunday morning. It's 9 o'clock, and I'm here with a Sunday thought. Well, it's been an interesting few days for me. And one thing, I had developed a little cough and actually took some cough medicine because it was getting annoying. And of course, the cough has decided it wants to come back a little bit this morning. But anyway, I'm here to once more do a little bit more things with Secrets for Living Happily, one of the books I wrote. And but I do want to say I was up a little bit late last night, and I was up early this morning in order to catch the end of the men's tennis in Melbourne, and the results weren't surprising. And then the women's doubles also, this morning I was able to watch some of that. So I've been up for a wee while, which is nice. Also, life doesn't always go the way you want it. When I have a client, whether it's a reading, energy release, or whatever, I record it. So they have a recording of it because most people like to re-listen. So I had a client and I recorded what we were going through. It was just a matter of, it's like an ongoing client, and we do questions and things. Do you think that recording would arrive at her place? 6 times. I sent it this way, I sent it that way, I sent it another way. Finally, I texted and said, I will deal with this tomorrow. She didn't realize all the other times I tried to send. She just kept saying, no, 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 no. Anyway, so this morning I got up, besides watching the tennis, sat down, and guess what? It landed. I don't know quite what was going on, but I went right back, recopied her email address, make sure everything was okay, and it got through. But life is like that. Doesn't always work the way that you want it to. You have the responses you have are important. I was frustrated yesterday. And one of the things I learned is to acknowledge your feelings. And I was feeling frustrated. And so I was able to try different ways. There's actually 2 main ways I send out a recording. I have one company I use all the time, and then sometimes I use Gmail as well. But it's like, I like the other company because we keep a record of it, and it's really well established. So I want to read a little bit from my book. When I have the title of the chapter is How You Deal with Your Feelings is Important. So when I acknowledged I was frustrated yesterday to myself, the level of frustration goes down until I came up with the resolution. I think you better send this tomorrow because I was not feeling great with this cough, and I was getting tired, and I was getting frustrated. And when you're frustrated and you try to make something work, 9 times out of 10, it doesn't. So what have I written here? Happiness is a feeling, and although you cannot feel another's feeling, you can assume it is similar to what you feel. It goes on a little bit, but I wanted to say here, I wanted to come down, and when I said, when you are happy, it is much easier to accept another's feelings as you encounter them, because we cannot know what another person feels, mainly because we don't always know what's going on in their head. Now, you have a feeling you don't particularly like it. By changing the thoughts, you change your feelings. Change your feelings, and you change your thought. Now, in this little booklet, what I did was take certain phrases and put them on a different page, and usually there's only one, but today we've got 2. One says, there is only now. Do you know how often we live in either the past or the future? Do you know how often we do that? A lot. I have clients sometimes that are so totally all the situations that happened in their past is right here, right now. And that's part of what we do when we have to sort ourselves out. We got to figure that out. The other thing I have on this page is this one, and I had to put this in when I wrote it because it was so much me. We always, there we go with this little cough. We always know our own answers. We just don't like them. Ever been in a situation when you know what you need to do, or I don't like to use the word should, but what you should do, we don't like them. We don't want to do that. We don't want to apologize. We don't want to go out. You might have an interview coming up and you don't really want to go, but you got to go because if you want that job or you want to be accepted for whatever role you want to play, you have to go. Now, that's because many of us have what we call inferiority complexes. I had it. I lived with it for many years. Probably most people don't think I have that. Every now and again, it raises its head because in our subconscious, everything is there and something can get triggered. But the element really, truly is to be able to understand the feeling that you have and accept it and let it go. Now, the other thing I kind of highlighted here today was when you can name your feelings, you can transform them. In other words, change them. There's ways of doing that, which I don't think I'm going to go into today, but there are ways in which you can transform your feelings. I'm going to use the word slave here. You're not a slave to your own feelings. And I find many people think that. Many people think that they cannot change a feeling that they have. And I have a very simple color technique that I began to use for myself and teach my clients if they feel they need that. The other important thing is, and I found it and I still find it very important, name the feeling you're feeling. Give it. Some people think that's giving it power. No, it's the opposite. When you name a feeling like frustration, like yesterday, I was like I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I just said, rather than sit here and do the same thing over and over and over because it's not working, I'll do it tomorrow morning. And it worked. First time, bang, everything worked, mainly because I figured out, I think, what was going wrong. But because I had a new concept. And sometimes I find people don't want to do that. They're like a dog with a bone. They got to figure it out. They got to do it. And so what happens, they get tense and then the thoughts go round and round and round and round. And the thing is that you've got to get a knowingness, I'll say, or a hold of your own inner dialogue. We tend to think in patterns. So if you have a tendency to beat yourself up, you know what I mean by beat yourself up? You didn't do it right. You couldn't figure it out, or beat. In other words, you're not giving yourself any good stuff. You're going to still feel miserable. It doesn't go away. And all the different things are going to happen. But if you can understand that this is a thought pattern that triggers the feelings, I think I wrote that down in here somewhere, is that we trigger them. I don't see it anywhere, but I know I've written it out. Thought and feelings go together in the internal body. So if you're having a thought about not being good enough, that was my thing that I went to. I wasn't good enough. It was how I was raised. Yeah, for sure. And I was a very sensitive, insecure young person. So it was very easy for me to go into that. I'm not good enough. I don't know enough. I'm not this. I'm not that. And so what I found was I had to actually eradicate some of those thoughts that came up, which created the feelings. When somebody would say something to me, I would automatically go to that. I'm not good enough and I can't do it. And then I had to take those and transform them myself. I could not, what's the word? That's why I learned a lot of things, and I take a lot of different aspects than what is kind of written in books, because I had to learn it. I had to learn it by asking. And where did I ask? Above. Where did I ask? Me. How do we get over that? How do we move that differently? And so today, as a Sunday thought, which is what I try to do, inspire, remember, I want you to just remember this one. We always know our own answers. We just don't like them. Do something about it. Change the thought. I'm just going to go a little bit here on the colors that make this work. I'm going to read it because it's easier that way and I don't miss anything. First, decide what color will represent your happy feelings. What color? A lot of people don't have. You ask that of a person. What's a color that makes you feel happy? Can't answer it. So you got to figure that out. Decide what color will represent your unhappy feelings. Oh, that's usually pretty easy, right? I've got black on today. That's how I felt yesterday. But red and black kind of felt it right this morning. Then decide. Okay, imagine you are outside of yourself. See yourself in only the two colors. One representing happy, one representing unhappy. Note how much of you is in the unhappy color and how much of you is the happy color. For the second part of the exercise, take the happy color and have it eat up like a Pac-Man the unhappy color. See the happy color replace the unhappy color. When you are totally in the happy color, you will allow yourself to feel how the happy color feels. You can also notice the thoughts the happy color has within it. Then bring the happy color inside of you, because this is all done pretty well in, outside, and imagine yourself becoming the happy color. And you integrate the color by seeing it move into your cells, blood, bones, organs, eyes, ears, and brain. And notice how different you feel when you have the color on the inside. You can do this little exercise daily until you notice when you look at the outside of yourself, you are automatically the happy color. It's basically taking self-responsibility to move yourself from always maybe blaming yourself, jumping on top of yourself, just not being exactly where you want to be, and realizing a simple little color exercise, especially done daily for a while, where all of a sudden then what we perceive as the happy color, and that may change in time, but make something in the beginning. What begins to happen is that you begin to feel so much better. It doesn't mean you're denying that you have sad moments or whatever. It means that you're not living in that doldrum of being sad and unhappy and feeling that nothing works for you. And that happens. You may have one part of your life working super well, another part of your life isn't. That doesn't mean you can't have every part of your life working to the best advantage that you have. And that concludes our Sunday Thought today. And I want to say hi to Yvonne. Always happy to see your name in there. It's funny. I write up a little welcome. I forget to press the arrow. And I sit here when it comes up. Where's my talk? Little thing I say, welcome to, thanks for being on live, blah, blah. I don't press the arrow. So that's and every day I think I have. So, and then it's not there. So anyway, today it is. Also, the reminder, tomorrow is Monday, mental mind treatments tomorrow night at 7. Now, remember, this is on Pacific time. And then on Wednesday, another talk. And that usually comes forth during the day is what I need to speak on, and following through on some other things. In the meantime, remember, you can live a very happy, fulfilling life. Sometimes we have to change something, but watch those thoughts. Thoughts create the feelings. The feelings create. That's kind of a two-way street, but you really need to watch the thoughts for sure, because it's easier to grab hold of. Some people live in their feelings, and that's okay too, because you can change those to find out what thoughts are propelling them. Morning, Leroy. Good to see you here as I say goodbye, and I will be back tomorrow night. Have a great day. Bye.